Greetings, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you for everything you do by the way of learning, growing, and serving. On this occasion, we're going to have a presentation entitled Conscience and Social Conscience. And in this regard, a particular image in mind for you, we'll put up now. It's an artwork entitled Manifestation, or in translated English, Demonstration, close related to the word in English to manifestation, by Antonio Berni, who lived from 1905 to 1981. And it's a painting, and it was done in 1934. It's about 180 centimeters by 149 centimeters. And Antonio Berni was an Argentinian living in Argentina and of Italian heritage. Thinking about the poignancy of this work and this encounter with humanity, let me say by way of introduction that the weekly studies and exercises of the Rosicrucian Order AMORC assist us in hearkening to the guidance of our conscience, the master within, its voice. In the same manner, the sensitivity, depth, and broad perspective developed through meditation and other Rosicrucian exercises assist us in heeding the expanded conscience of social conscience to act with respect and for the well-being of all. So we'll continue to explore Rosicrucian laws and principles. And thinking of the painting before us here, we'll keep in mind that the artist Antonio Berni was a major figure in the art of Argentina and indeed worldwide, masterfully blending different styles to spotlight or highlight social injustices. And his early influences were surrealism. He had traveled and studied in Paris, France, and helped develop what's referred to as the New Realism. And Berni's work chronicles or shows the history of it was tumultuous in Argentina. As you'll note, the work is quite telling in regard to being 1934. That suggests various things in world history and Western history and what's going on in Argentina and South America. That decade is referred to in Argentina as the infamous decade. And we'll see before us a suffering humanity, a humanity looking for uplift. You notice in our Rosicrucian studies, we look for a deeper understanding. And we come into the experience of the one soul through meditation, not only as a philosophical and metaphysical concept, but as an actual astonishing experience. And the way the artist has depicted the various persons here, you even see a child fairly centrally placed slightly up, is gazing straight at us. You see the way the hope of humanity. We see in the various faces their suffering. You'll notice is associated with the theme of demonstration, placard here and a placard here of bread and work, the demand and suffering of people, especially in the face of tremendous income inequality and various stages in development and socioeconomic status, and how some groups of people are living and others are not, and the need to be caring and thoughtful and not taking advantage of others. This and many other things, we come into increased sensitivity to our inner guardian, our conscience, the voice of the master within, but it extends throughout entirety of the temple of the earth and humanity. We can get a sense of the personalities of the different persons. We can feel by the lines on their faces, the way the eyebrows are moved or twisted. The look in the eyes, particularly see considerable sadness here. We see a face here that has a very deep sense of knowing. Let's zoom in a little bit more on these in this wonderful telling work. Some of the figures in the lower left, you can see one is eyes upward. Soon we'll rise up into the heights of the celestial sanctum and sort of like a symbolically rise up over present circumstances, see a new way of living, novel insights. Even a little bit can sometimes make a big difference for ourselves and our family. Here we see the sense of deep knowing in the figure. So we're on the far lower left. Let's go closer in on that figure too. In a way, we get a sense of the universal soul and all the persons in the work and their interconnectedness, one expression of the divine. Here too, we get a sense that in Rosicrucian studies, we refer to the soul, if the lowercase s, as opposed to the one universal soul with uppercase s, for make a distinction. But we each have an individual soul, but it's an undivided part of the one universal soul. And we get a sense of that often through the eyes. We also get a sense of this person's soul personality coming forth. In a way, the soul personality is the degree to which we're expressing the one individual soul and ultimately the universal soul. We're polishing the mirror of the soul personality, to use an analogy, to increasingly radiate that understanding and that divinity and mastership. We find ourselves in tumultuous times. We know that from our one of our Rosicrucian rituals, that we find peace in the inner temple that is a Rosicrucian temple, but also within the temple that is within us as a human being, as a holy temple drawing to the master within, suggested by the inspiration of Bernie's work. Related to this, and as part of his inspired understanding, that it was very important to him to apply art and social conscience. In fact, there was recently an exhibit of his work on the very theme of social conscience. And you'll see another work here that is quite intriguing, and it was done decades later in his life, dating from 1973. It's actually shows some of Bernie's early surrealist influences, but also relationship to social realism and pop art. And he was very intrigued by artists that use collage and various pieces to put together to give sort of a whole in these individual parts, sum up to give a synergistic effect. The individual parts summed together give something new and extra. Now, he had a series of works around a character by the name of Juanito Lagun. And it's a series on a social narrative to do with the effects of industrialization and poverty, not only in Argentina and Buenos Aires, but also a universal theme. Each of us in our lives work with individual circumstances. The back of that is the universal lesson that we can identify and sympathize and empathize and ultimately have compassion for others and can act on that. Now, the figure depicted here, Juanito Laguna, was not a particular person. In a way, he was a universal character. We know that when Bernie was asked about this character, he says that Juanito Laguna is a boy on the outskirts of Buenos Aires, or any Latin American capital. And he tried to convey through him a message of solidarity. So you see the Rosicrucian law of solidarity. Through the one soul, we're intimately connected. Let us now look some more at this work. In a way, it's an inspiring work because we see the childlike wonder of flying a kite that we've done. Maybe we continue to do that or share with our grandchildren and our children. And you see this great surging up of cloud here that's quite detailed and spectacular. And it's not only of a traditional realism, but also with the social realism of the collage. We see the octagonal kite with its tail, eight-sided, of course, we think suggestive to us, whether the artist intended or not, but possibly through his inspiration of rebirth, of new beginnings. We see the kite as both of the heavens and the sky, but also of the earth through the flyer here, Juanito, and the string that he's holding. Now we see the effects of poverty, the effects of industrialization, and how they're being used to what benefits some but not all. There's various refuse of garbage out displayed here. In the way he's charged in his life and others to have compassion, to try to build up his conditions, that he's had his childlike innocence, that we can build and develop that as we have increasing contact with the master within. We always have those deeper, finer contact that we had in childhood, the master within, when we regularly practice meditation. Inspired by this work and the one before, on the one soul of humanity, and the idea of social conscience and childlike wonder, and the rising up into the heavens, like the kite, let us have a period of meditation together to reflect more deeply on these matters. So at this time, I invite you to apply instructions of the Rosicrucian booklet, Liber 777, one of our key instructions on meditation. First, I invite you, however you're situated, lying down or standing or seated, let's feel comfortable to do so, to close your eyes. And now let go of the cares of the day. We use this time as a mini retreat to rise up into the experience of the one universal soul, experience of the divine within, feeling of being with everyone, each doing the very best they can as we experience through the expanded consciousness of the cosmic. I invite you just to enjoy the gentle rhythms of your breath as an act of purification. Taking in the vital life force in the air. I invite you to breathe out a little longer than your inhalation and stimulate the great vagus nerve to help bring about an autonomic balance, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems that we learn so much about in our weekly Rosicrucian studies and our various exercises like the one we're doing right now. So whereas we become masters of the breath and of our nervous system, we can move more and more into a state of enlightenment, know more and more what needs to be done by both in our conscience, the well-being of all. In this way, we come into the deepest, most meaningful way of life, most loving, most compassionate. Just continue to apply the law of purification. Join being enriched by a simple act of breathing, which I invite you to breathe a little deeper than usual to extend the exhalation. Soon we'll rise to the heights of the celestial sanctum. Just continue to let go and be receptive. No matter what's going on in our life now, just let it go. I assure you, you will come back to it all the more confident, all the more capable after our period of meditation and this presentation and learning together with a new outlook, more mature perspective. Now, at this time, I invite you to say with me prayer and invocation. Continue our purification to make the ascent like the kite. May the divine essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may enter the celestial sanctum and attune in pureness and in worthiness. So mote it be. Now I invite you to picture yourself using all your psychic abilities, imaginative capacity to be rising up from the home or dwelling or office or building where you're situated. Rise up above the room, above the structure itself, looking down on your neighborhood, enjoying the ascent like the kite flying up a strong wind. Feel the liberty and the freedom of the flight. Looking down now in your local geographic area, your town, your city. See all the system and order, expression of the cosmic mind, just like the great system and order within the temple of the body and all its workings for our harmony and health. Let us keep rising faster and faster. I invite you to use great inner spiritual force at this time. Do not be passive. Later we'll let go and be passive. Rising higher and higher over your province and state and over the weather systems and the water systems, land systems below, and even now over your great nation or country. Enjoy the exhilaration of rising up faster and faster. We'll apply the law of correspondence, for as we rise up higher and higher, we'll go deeper and deeper into the full depths of our being, at one with the one and the divine within. Let us continue to rise up higher and higher above now the continent where we dwell, and even the hemisphere where we dwell. And now see the entirety, the beautiful blue jewel of the earth, the oblate spheroid, and the great satellite of the moon revolving about the axis of the earth. And we can sense also the rotations of the earth. And let us rise up higher, higher, sensing the great elliptical orbits of the earth and the other planets, and the great fiery ball of the sun as we pass by it and go higher and higher. His great inner spiritual force going faster and faster, way beyond the speed of light as we transcend space and time. And we'll make the movement from the finite plane to the infinite plane. It is our law, duty, and mission in life to be masters of both planes as we continue to rise up higher and higher, enjoying the exhilaration of the ascent. Passing by myriad stars and planets and asteroids, stellar phenomena, quasars and pulsars, the interstellar web connecting planets. You see the nebulae now as we exit from the great arm of the Milky Way galaxy, our local home. See its great motions around its great center and black hole. And look up and see the other galaxies. There's rotating, spiraling shapes and other forms going faster and faster past all sentient beings as we move to unite with the universal consciousness. And Rosicrucians use the term cosmic to mean the universal intelligence back of the cosmos and the application of all natural and spiritual laws as we rise higher and higher. Let us continue to apply them and feeling the exhilaration and uplift of this great action. We go deeper and deeper into the cosmos and deeper within ourselves. It's a microcosm mirroring the macrocosm. Let us hear now the harmony of the spheres, the wondrous music that all arts back on earth seek to imitate and are inspired by. See in the distance now too, clusters of galaxies and clusters of galaxies called superclusters of galaxies. Increasingly sense the vastness of the universe and the suggestive of the vastness within us, as above, so below. You may now sense too how the entire universe is rotating about one great cosmic axis, spoken of since ancient times by philosophers and mystics. As you sense the tremendous and stupendous rotation, the entire cosmos about its axis, just like our microcosm that we are, rotates about our spine as an axis, mirroring the cosmic axis. I invite you to speed towards the midpoint of the great cosmic axis. And when you reach it, slow up and dwell there for a while in awe of the temple of the divine all before you. Take it all in. Feel the increased presence of the divine within, deep within us, mirroring all creation. May at this time feel a wondrous tingling of the vital life force, particularly the cosmic essence, imbued throughout the cosmos and the microcosm that you are. This time, I invite you live visualization and the instructions of the booklet Liber 777 to visualize your personal sacred space, your celestial sanctum. You may wish to have it simply as the great cosmos all around you, or maybe an inspiring Rosicrucian temple, or one of the great temples, one of the spiritual traditions of the world, or maybe an inspiring place in nature back on earth, such as a sacred grove, beautiful wooded area, that vault of the trees above, or by a lake shore, or a seashore, or an ocean shore, or at the heights of a hill or a mountain, the vast view. Feel in the sights and sounds and the exhilaration of being in your celestial sanctum. You may wish to draw on earlier profound experiences that you've had that are of uplifting and loving nature. Feel them now, build them up. You may wish to picture with you too all those on this conference call with us, and all the Grand Lodge and Supreme Grand Lodge officers of the Rosicrucian Order AMORC. You may be conducting a special sacred ritual and convocation at this time for our edification. You may wish to have the presence of all seekers, the visible and invisible masters in this special sacred place, the center of your being, at the center of the cosmos. Just continue to fill it in, live it, be it, realize it, manifest it. When you filled it in enough, I invite you to just release it into the subconscious mind and then into the cosmic mind. And say, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. And when you've done that, just let go. Be passive now fully. Just feel all there is to feel once you've released your visualization. Feel the great enrichment through the law of silence. It's full of gentle rhythm of the breath in harmony with all the vibrations of the universe on the cosmic keyboard. Let's just enjoy the enriching silence together now. Let's continue to let go. Be receptive to the divine within, our true guide in nature and life and beyond. Just surrender. Just feel all there is to feel. Keep following the breath to stay centered. Let the experience unfold in the cosmic mind. And let us conduct a further spiritual operation of the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order AMORC as we continue this meditation period. I invite you to join with the Silent Council in conjunction with the Council of Solace to radiate love and well-being from the depths of your being, out filling the cosmos, to all those in need, to all those you know who are in need, to all those who petition for the bodies of the Rosicrucian Order AMORC, to all those petitioned Grand Lodge of the Rosicrucian Order AMORC for guidance and healing. Radiate love and well-being to all in need throughout the cosmos, in the depths of your being. Feel the exhilaration of the flow. Surrender to the action of the divine within that knows completely how to do this. Feel like a vessel radiating forth like a great searchlight, filling the cosmos. As the radiations go out, I think you'll find at a certain point, they'll radiate without any conscious effort. And even speed up, and you'll know you're reaching those in need. And when that happens, just continue to surrender. Let your mind merge with the cosmic mind. So love and well-being radiates throughout the cosmos, through your mind expanding into the cosmos with those rays. Love and well-being in your mind encompassing the cosmos. So let the radiations of love and well-being continue from the depths of your being. Enjoy the exhilaration of the flow to all in need. Feel as the cosmic mind feels. Experience as the cosmic mind experiences. Be the cosmic mind. Assume the cosmic mind now. Soon we'll formally close our work as a silent council in conjunction with the Council of Solace. We'll continue our meditation a while longer. To formally close this sending of metaphysical aid, I invite you to say with me, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. Ensure that the radiations will continue as a way of life. Let us dwell at the heights of the celestial sanctum a while longer, in perfect attunement with the divine within, at one with the one. enriched, ennobled, and transmuted. Now, having sent metaphysical aid, conducted a visualization, applied the law of cosmic attunement, the law of silence, the law of service, the law of compensation, and let's apply now the law of gratitude. I invite you to radiate and give thanks to all those who have taught you well, to all those who sacrificed well on your behalf, to all those who have loved you well. And you'll note as we apply the law of gratitude, it intensifies the application of the law of cosmic attunement to uplift us even more. So we radiate our thanks and gratitude. Soon we'll begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum. Let us begin traveling at tremendous speed, way beyond the speed of light, using great inner strength through the divine within, past the myriad superclusters of galaxies, galaxies, stars and stellar phenomena, pulsars, the quasars, comets, the asteroids, the rogue planets, the interstellar gases connecting the stars and galaxies, the nebulae, which are the great harmony of the spheres, the great music of cosmos. Feeling the cosmic mind deep within us expressing itself. We see in the distance our local home, the Milky Way galaxy. Let us speed towards it and plunge into the great arm, our local home, and past the myriad stars, nebula, asteroids, comets, pulsars, and quasars. And see in the distance beautiful elliptical orbits of our home, the solar system, our local star, the sun, beautiful blue jewel of the earth, come to the hemisphere where we left off, the continent, great nation or country, the province or state, our local geographic area or town or city, and our neighborhood. I invite you to say with me again, invoking prayer and invocation, law of purification. May the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. Let us continue to ascend into our home or dwelling or office or building, back in the room where we left off, being remade, reintegrated, rejuvenated, regenerated, re-energized, and rested. And when you're ready, you may wish to open your eyes and stretch, arching your back and your arms and moving your fingers and your toes, wherever you wish, feeling the presence of the cosmic sense coming through the self-consciousness as a way of life. It's part of our mission in life. Feeling healed and the capacity to heal. Great. Thank you, everyone. Resume the main body of our presentation now. I know our imperator and chief executive officer of the order, Claudio Mazzucco, has emphasized our connectedness. And we experience that deeply when we meditate. We have that experience of the divine within, but also the one soul. It's a beautiful, astonishing experience. And indeed, even our developments uh, in biology and physics, we've increasingly recognized the interconnectedness of all phenomena and expressions of life. And it behooves us to increasingly apply these things that Rosicrucians have known down through the ages. Knowing that we're all fundamentally connected through the one universal soul. Sometimes the analogy is used to light bulbs in the series, and they have the one flow of electricity, the different expressions, the different bulbs and the colors of bulbs that are our individual soul personalities and holy temples. So we can think of the one soul as a concept and an experience that is very guiding in our life and applying our conscience and social conscience. And one could say, okay, the conscience, that inner guardian, that sense of there's something things off course. We increasingly sensitize ourselves to this through the practice of meditation. But that conscience is essentially the same as social conscience. It's just we need to apply our conscience not only for our individual lives, but for well-being of all, and sense what's going on throughout the world and beyond through that attunement with the cosmic and our conscience, both in its individual form and its expanded form in social conscience. Indeed, conscience is social conscience. In this way, we begin to understand that we're not separated entities, separated beings, but rather distinct expressions coming through the one soul. Yes, expressed through the individual soul, it's an undivided segment. It is expressing itself ultimately through the soul personality and our outer self or outer nature. But as we grow and mature in experiences, trials and tribulations of experiences, the uplifting experience as well, they're all packed with lessons. Begin that our soul personality begins to become more and more resonant with the soul that we individually have and in the one soul, become radiant expressions of it, and a truly, fully developed human being. And if one adheres to the concept of and doctrine of reincarnation, it's a gradual process over incarnations, over millennia. And then our attunement with the cosmos allows us to have that more expansive, maturing viewpoint, which allows us to be calmer. And calmness allows us to heal, and calmness helps others to be calm with us and their healing as well. Now, on this larger scale, it's very good to see that the Rosicrucians over the centuries, in the 17th century and in this century, had manifestos along these lines of expanding our sense of well-being and social conscience for the welfare of all. An important one that will be in the resources for you of recent times is the Appellatio Fraternitatis Rosicrucis, and also the Positio Fraternitatis Rosicrucis. They have important documents on the topic of social conscience and effect, and how we can help in the well-being of others and humanity's purpose in living. Only for our own development and self-mastery, but insisting all others in that. Indeed, to be a self-master means that one has worked greatly in service to others. And that's intensified conscience and social conscience as one. Within that, I would like to mention that the Rosicrucians had a very special issue in their Rosicrucian Digest available to you, and it'll be in the resources. You'll call the Rosicrucian Digest number 1 of volume 95 from 2017 on the theme of cosmic politics. You'll find in there an article entitled The Appeal by our Grand Master Julie Scott. And also it ties in with the Rosicrucian Manifestos. And also the Rosicrucian Declaration of Human Duties, that we have human rights, but also duties that to balance those rights with, and living out our social conscience and the well-being of others. And we're not living in greed, and we're seeing the effects of our actions not only locally, but globally. And also there's an article again by Grand Master Julie Scott on reflections on the Creed of Peace. Creed of Peace was written by past imperator Ralph M. Lewis, his reflections on the world wars of the 20th century and earlier tumultuous times and times of peace. And they're very insightful, and it's written in a way that emphasizes our responsibility. It's paralleled by another document that's in that Cosmic Politics Digest called a piece called Contribution to Peace, where we affirm how we're working for peace, how we're being responsible in our individual actions and those that have impact on others and things that we're doing in our daily life and how we're living, how that's impacting not only our local environment, but worldwide conditions. We're so interconnected now. We always have been, but we're just realizing it more and more through various developments in technology. Many of them mirror or imitate our psychic faculties, the inner faculties of the microcosm. Now, in this, we need to understand the cultures that we were raised in, yes, and currently living in. We understand them more deeply. We'll see more Rosicrucian laws and principles and how spirituality was passed down generation to generation, but also the trials and tribulations through which those were learned from and distilled in a great alchemical process, that culture and humanity. But also in that understanding of our own cultures, we need to realize that we need to respect other cultures, their dignity, their wisdom, and their unique ways to express the one soul and the divine, and thereby, very importantly, not impose on them, but rather harmonize and expand in understanding with them. In this sense, we can come to increasingly appreciate that morality, virtue, and mystical knowing is, so to speak, well spread out over the temple of the earth, the globe of the earth. No one group of people have any monopoly on these things. It's all our birthright through the one soul and the divine within. We may have been raised to think in some ways that we're superior, but we have to let go of that illusion, having that as of the outer self, not of the divine within, where the ultimate humility and openness comes from, the greatest strength and well-being and meaning. Now, our knowledge of Rosicrucian laws and principles that we study weekly in a Rosicrucian lesson, and that we applied in this presentation, and particularly in our Rosicrucian exercise and meditation, because the Rosicrucians are very practical, first-hand direct experiences at the heart of mysticism. That our knowledge of Rosicrucian laws and principles have a universal application. So we can apply them to expand and deepen our understanding of all aspects of our lives and contexts and all cultures that we come in contact with and learn with and from. Now, this approach includes the conditions and expressions of humanity worldwide, which we easily get in many ways through our news media and very forth, but we always have that deep connection within us, the one soul, where the most truthful realizations will take place. The outer self can feed to that and help work with the divine within in growing and learning in this. Now, it's important in this increased sensitivity that takes through meditation. I remember years ago, my work at a university where I worked with two research librarians, where we developed an online tutorial on web research or using the web for research. It had a lot of points about the importance of critical thinking. When we're getting sources of information in the media or wherever it is, we can think about who's advertising in that source, who's funding that source, what are their potential biases, what are they mentioning and not mentioning? Are they giving historical context? Are they omitting certain things? It's the other sources. Often when one's raised in a particular country, there's sometimes the idea that it's the superior, it's the best country. We have to let go of those illusions. You can see, in fact, the most important criticism takes place is self-criticism within ourselves and our actions. But then that gets expanded in terms of criticizing a nation. The most important nation to criticize is the one that we're living in. So that's where we're incarnated. And that's where we have the most immediate effect. But then, yes, see the worldwide picture, the universal picture, and criticize and see its strength. Be it in a constructive form. Also, with this increased sensitivity gained through meditation, we can use it to assist us to sense not only what we're going on in our lives, but also in the lives in other family members, friends, community, people and communities worldwide. When we're silent in meditation, often we have time to catch up how we've been roughed up earlier in the day, or find how much our mind's distracted. We find our mind wandering. Well, that's what it's been doing all day, just taking time to take note of it. But we can check in with our heart and our mind. What is what's happening with the outer self and our deeper nature, and then let it go. Because an important way to start experiencing this not only within ourselves, but the entirety of humanity as one body, and the entire cosmic mind. As we move into that deeper and deeper understanding through the cosmic mind, and move higher and higher, the rates of the cosmic keyboard doubling from one octave to another. So as we should refer to, that what we sense becomes more and more expansive. And one might think, well, isn't that going to be overwhelming? But no, not when we follow the Rosicrucian laws and principles, when we do the Rosicrucian exercises, when we meditate and are inwardly strengthened by the divine within. We find that we have infinite resources, go far beyond what the finite resources are, no matter how great they seem, how overwhelming they seem, how challenging they seem. If we're flooded in with the divine resources within us, we are transformed. Even one novel thought from our meditation can sometimes be an important upliftment and breakthrough. That's why Rosicrucians have known for centuries that of the many health benefits of meditation is that there's pain reduction, and there's also mood elevation. There's an increased optimism. There's increased creativity. There's increased working memory. We're able to think more clearly. All things work together within us like a symphony orchestra. And the one conductor, the master within, is now guiding. And the music is greatly harmonious, not causing us disharmony or dis-ease. Now, an important part of this is to be open to unlearn. In fact, an important part of learning is unlearning, willingness to let go. And the letting go, in some cases, means that we release it entirely. We don't need to come back. Sometimes it means we come back to when we're more in that deeper mindful state and we can see the matter more clearly. You may find that you've all puzzled or got very stressed about thinking through something and reason with it, and we apply in our Rosicrucian studies to learn well our inductive and deductive reasoning. But then it's good to have that time to let go and stand back and have that bigger picture and let the divine within that more integrated state come forward, and it'll synthesize and distill the understanding for the breakthrough and how to proceed, which may be a certain part of the puzzle, or to seek certain help or insight from another, or we may have the complete insight and we've made the breakthrough. It takes place in a variety of ways. We just need to be ready to unlearn and let go. Also, it's important, even if we think we're correct, not to impose our understanding, because each person must learn in their own unique way, even though the underlying pattern is universal. It's very important that we not dismiss others, as this practice can lead to not respecting others, and we can miss out on important information or insights to learn more on how to act and assert when needed, to be more compassionate and loving, not only for ourselves, our family members, our friends, our community, but worldwide, and appreciating what's going on worldwide and how to assist in worldwide. One way we can assist worldwide is as we did with our metaphysical aid exercise. The need is always great, but there's resources are infinite to assist in it. We can also use the strengths that we have to reach out worldwide and be of assistance. We can also look at how things are structured in our society, and we can work and be a co-agent not only with the cosmic, but with humanity and reforming and growing. This was part of the reason why the Rosicrucians had the stories of utopia that we've covered earlier with our department instruction presentations that are now on Rosicrucian TV, that hold up those ideals for the outer self to move towards. The inner self will give us the guidance, the inspiration to do so. Now, it's easy to get the erroneous idea that we are more intelligent, more virtuous than others, or that our group or our country is. And thereby we miss many important lessons and loving experiences living. That is, the appreciation of the one soul and the cosmic consciousness will help change any such habit into a new habit of seeing others as ourselves, as a lived experience. In this manner, we need to continually let go to learn from the master within. Sometimes it means letting go of certain larger life plans that we had our heart set on, but now learn that they were more not well directed. In fact, maybe even harmful to ourselves or others. But also means letting go to allow the divine within to come forward to address us once we've done our reasoning and once we've done our best we can to find out from our immediate finite resources, draw on the infinite resources of the master within. And through meditation and other Rosicrucian exercises, we can have a calming and healing effect on those we contact, just as they can do likewise for us, if we take responsibility to prepare ourselves. And as we come into the cosmic, we pull up all other sentient beings into the cosmic. We're always drawing them up with us when we do that. And as they rise into the cosmic, they help draw us. One great act of social conscience and conscience. Now, another important way that we can go in this world in regard to the well-being and service of all is that we may also have a disarming effect for ourselves and others with whom we come in contact. Disarming in a good way. If we are overdoing being on the defensive or offensive out of fear or ignorance, and then you can have a meeting or communion between souls within the one soul can take place, and then much can be accomplished. In this way, peace will come forward through that healing presence and that disarming effect in wisdom and love. There's many ways that we can be of service. You can do that through sending a metaphysical aid. That's always a central way. Through the cosmic attunement will help guide us. We can use whatever strengths we have and the latent capacities that are coming out as we develop more and more expression of the divine within. Always use our strengths for the well-being of others, never in greed, to build up. We'll have guidance through the divine within on channels to work on. The weekly studies and exercises of the Rosicrucian Order AMORC assist us in hearkening to the guidance of our conscience, the master within's voice. In the same manner, the sensitivity, depth, and broad perspective developed through meditation and other Rosicrucian exercises assist us in heeding the expanded consciousness of social conscience, act with respect and for the well-being of all. And in this manner, we've continued to explore Rosicrucian laws and principles, their creative expression and application for the mastery of life, harmonious living, service, and the well-being of all. Thank you, everyone. Great to be with you. Great to feel your presence. Great that all that you do in following your own conscience and one with the social conscience. The deepest, most meaningful way of life.